When was the last time you heard anyone defend Ducati's reliability with genuine conviction? Almost never. And that silence tells the entire story. There was a time when this Italian brand commanded absolute devotion from motorcycle enthusiasts worldwide. Riders would overlook oil leaks, electrical failures, and constant breakdowns because owning a Ducati meant something. The red machines dominated MotoGP circuits, while their street bikes filled garage dreams across every continent. For decades, Ducati didn't just sell motorcycles. They sold passion, performance, and Italian engineering mystique. But passion only survives if the product delivers on its promises. By 2024, warranty departments systematically denied claims. Dealers blamed Italian character for manufacturing defects, and customers discovered their $25,000 superbikes shared nothing with the race machines they thought they were buying. The name stayed familiar, but the trust vanished. So today's question is simple. How did Ducati build such fierce loyalty? And what turned that devotion into a $2.8 billion betrayal? To understand the betrayal, you need to understand the empire. Ducati's story begins in Bologna, Italy, in 1926, when Antonio Cavalieri Ducati and his three sons established a company manufacturing radio components. Their precision engineering earned them a reputation for quality, but it was not until after World War II that their journey into motorcycles began. The devastation of post-war Italy created a desperate need for affordable transportation, and Ducati answered with the revolutionary Cucciolo engine, a small power unit that could be attached to bicycles, transforming them into motorized transport. This humble beginning laid the foundation for what would become a motorcycle powerhouse. As Italy rebuilt, Ducati evolved, producing complete motorcycles that embraced a philosophy that would define the brand for decades: performance over comfort, passion over practicality. These were not just transportation devices, they were expressions of Italian engineering artistry. Each motorcycle leaving the Bologna factory carried with it a distinctly Italian approach to design, one that valued emotional connection as much as mechanical function. The 1960s brought what many consider Ducati's most significant technical innovation: the desmodromic valve system. While conventional engines used springs to close engine valves, Ducati's desmodromic system used mechanical means to both open and close valves with absolute precision. This eliminated valve float at high RPM, allowing their engines to achieve extraordinary performance for the era. The system was complex, expensive to manufacture, and required specialized maintenance, but it perfectly embodied the Ducati philosophy of pursuing mechanical perfection, regardless of cost or complexity. This technical innovation translated directly to racing success. When Mike Hailwood returned from retirement in 1978 to win the Isle of Man TT on a Ducati after an 11-year absence from the race, it created a mythology around the brand that transcended normal manufacturer loyalty. Hailwood's victory was not just a race win, it was a statement about what Ducati motorcycles could accomplish in the right hands. The distinctive sound of Ducati's L-twin engine, a thunderous rhythmic note unlike anything from Japan, became the auditory signature of the brand. You could hear a Ducati coming before you saw it, and that sound alone triggered an emotional response in motorcycle enthusiasts. By the 1990s, Ducati had cultivated something rare in the motorcycle industry: a cult following. Owners did not just ride Ducatis, they evangelized for them. The launch of the iconic 916s in 1994 redefined motorcycle design aesthetics, with its single-sided swing arm, underseat exhausts, and aggressive stance. Penned by Massimo Tamburini, the 916 was not just a motorcycle, it was a rolling sculpture that still influences design today. When the 916 began dominating World Superbike Championships, securing 14 manufacturer titles, it cemented Ducati's position as an iconic prestige brand in motorcycling. This racing success allowed Ducati to position itself as the Ferrari of motorcycles, an exclusive premium product that commanded top dollar. Owners paid significantly more for Ducatis than comparable Japanese machines, but that price differential became part of the appeal. Owning a Ducati was not just transportation, it was membership in an exclusive club. The higher price point and maintenance requirements served as barriers to entry that only the truly devoted would cross. The cultural impact extended far beyond the motorcycle community. When a Ducati 996 featured prominently in The Matrix Reloaded, it reinforced the brand's image as the ultimate expression of two-wheeled performance and desirability. Motorcycle magazines treated each new Ducati release as a major automotive event, devoting cover stories and extensive features to bikes that represented a tiny fraction of actual market sales. Ducati dealerships transformed from traditional motorcycle shops into boutique experiences more reminiscent of luxury fashion stores than places to buy vehicles. Owner communities formed that resembled religious movements more than customer bases. Ducati rallies and owner groups created social structures where the shared experience of Ducati ownership fostered deep connections. For many, owning a Ducati was not just about the motorcycle, it was about identity. To criticize a Ducati was to criticize the owner's judgment, taste, and values. This devotion created a unique dynamic where owners would defend even obvious flaws as character, rather than acknowledging them as defects. But by the early 2000s, cracks began appearing in the Ducati facade that even the most devoted owners could not ignore. Warning signs emerged as increasing reports of electrical system failures within the first 1,000 miles of ownership. The bikes had complex electrical architectures, so even minor faults could render a motorcycle completely inoperable. Oil leak patterns started appearing across multiple model lines and production years, suggesting systemic design or manufacturing issues rather than isolated incidents. Clutch and transmission problems that required expensive repairs outside warranty periods became common enough to be expected rather than exceptional. Online forums that once celebrated Ducati ownership gradually transformed into troubleshooting communities, documenting systematic problems instead of isolated incidents. Longtime owners began compiling unofficial maintenance schedules that went far beyond manufacturer recommendations. These were necessary interventions to prevent catastrophic failures. Meanwhile, Japanese manufacturers like Honda, Yamaha, and Kawasaki were delivering motorcycles capable of 50,000 plus miles with minimal maintenance beyond oil changes and tire replacements. This reliability standard created an uncomfortable contrast. Customers began questioning why Italian character meant regular trips to the service department, while Japanese motorcycles kept running without issue. Maintenance costs for Ducatis averaged 3 to 4 times higher than their Japanese counterparts, creating a cost of ownership that went well beyond the initial purchase price. Resale values began reflecting these reliability concerns rather than just brand desirability. While certain classic Ducatis appreciated, modern models depreciated rapidly as second and third owners experienced the full financial impact of ongoing repairs. Ducati's financial situation added another layer of complexity. Multiple ownership changes, including periods under Texas Pacific Group, Invest Industrial, and eventually Audi AG, created intense pressure for short-term profitability over long-term reputation building. Development budgets were stretched thin between expensive MotoGP racing programs and street bike production, forcing compromises in both arenas. Manufacturing processes began prioritizing production speed over rigorous quality control standards. Engineering teams reported increasing pressure to ship products before testing was complete, with the understanding that early customers would essentially serve as extended beta testers. The social media revolution transformed how motorcycle owners shared their experiences. Customer complaints that once remained isolated, private interactions with dealers suddenly became public narratives. YouTube channels began documenting common failures and expensive repair procedures in detail. Reddit communities shared warranty denial experiences and dealer responses, allowing owners to recognize patterns in how the company handled complaints. Instagram posts showing oil stains on garage floors and electrical failures became viral content, reaching potential customers far outside traditional motorcycle media. Faced with these mounting problems, Ducati's leadership understood they had a significant reliability crisis on their hands. The solution they chose would test whether a legendary brand could maintain profits while systematically deceiving its most loyal customers. Internal memos acknowledged known defects while deciding against recalls that would impact short-term financial performance. Instead, the company instituted comprehensive dealer training programs, teaching service advisors how to reframe manufacturing defects as normal characteristics of the motorcycles. Warranty departments underwent restructuring with explicit goals of maximizing claim denials through technical loopholes rather than addressing customer satisfaction. Service advisors were given scripts for handling common failure complaints, with particular emphasis on framing oil leaks and electrical issues as expected Italian character, rather than defects requiring repair. Techniques for shifting blame to customer riding habits or maintenance practices became standard procedure, with dealers instructed to look for any possible reason to deny warranty coverage. Incentive structures for dealerships were redesigned to reward those who minimized warranty claim approvals rather than those who generated the highest customer satisfaction scores. At the same time, marketing budgets for MotoGP participation increased, while quality control investments decreased. Race victories were leveraged in advertising that implied street motorcycles shared technology with race machines, despite the two having increasingly little in common. Performance specifications in marketing materials highlighted track capabilities while carefully avoiding any mention of reliability data or expected maintenance requirements. Emotional advertising campaigns focused exclusively on passion and heritage rather than the practical ownership experience. Celebrity endorsements and lifestyle marketing created powerful distractions from the mechanical issues owners were experiencing. Financial analysis within the company showed warranty repairs would be more expensive than occasional legal settlements with particularly persistent customers. Profit margin calculations prioritized immediate revenue over long-term reputation damage. Customer retention studies suggested brand loyalty was strong enough to survive quality issues. Many customers were so emotionally invested in Ducati ownership that they would blame themselves rather than the manufacturer for problems. Risk assessment severely underestimated the potential exposure from class action lawsuits as problems became more widespread and documented. By 2020, that strategy began unraveling as customer experiences became impossible to contain or control. Social media transformed individual complaints into visible patterns. Viral TikTok videos showing brand new Ducatis leaking oil in dealership parking lots reached audiences far beyond traditional motorcycle enthusiasts. YouTube channels dedicated to documenting systematic warranty claim denials gained hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Facebook groups with thousands of members sharing identical failure experiences created undeniable evidence of widespread manufacturing issues. Instagram influencers who had once proudly promoted the brand began posting about $5,000 in repair bills on 6-month-old motorcycles. The legal community took notice. Class action attorneys recognized patterns in customer complaints and warranty denials that suggested organized corporate behavior rather than isolated incidents. During discovery proceedings, internal documents surfaced showing deliberate deception strategies in handling known defects. Expert testimony revealed engineering knowledge of recurring issues dating back years, with decisions made to continue production without addressing root causes. Consumer protection agencies in multiple countries launched investigations into Ducati's warranty practices, questioning whether the company was fulfilling its legal obligations to customers. Even Ducati's dealer network began showing signs of rebellion. Service managers privately admitted to customers that problems were widespread and systemic rather than isolated incidents. Technicians leaked internal training materials about deflecting warranty claims, revealing the corporate strategy to the public. Dealership owners expressed increasing frustration with being asked to defend corporate denial of obvious defects, placing them in direct conflict with customers they depended on for business. Independent mechanics specialized in Ducati repair posted detailed videos explaining how to fix what they called known Ducati issues, problems so common they had developed standardized repair procedures outside official service manuals. The customer exodus followed inevitably. Online polls showed over 70% of Ducati owners were considering other brands for their next motorcycle purchase. Resale values plummeted as the reliability reputation spread beyond enthusiast communities to general motorcycle buyers. New bike sales declined as word of mouth shifted from passionate advocacy to cautionary warnings about ownership costs and reliability issues. Motorcycle journalists who had once fawned over each new Ducati release began questioning the brand's reliability in professional reviews, unable to ignore the mountain of owner complaints and documented issues. Over the next 4 years, the consequences became undeniable. The financial reckoning arrived in the form of $2.8 billion, a class action settlement covering electrical system failures across 15 model years, the largest consumer settlement in motorcycle industry history. Additional settlements followed for oil leak issues and transmission problems across multiple model lines. Legal fees and court costs exceeded even these initial settlement amounts. Ongoing litigation for warranty fraud and consumer deception practices continues to this day. Market share collapsed, with Ducati's presence in the premium motorcycle segment dropping from 12% to 6% in key markets like North America, Europe, and Australia. The decline devastated dealer economics. Customers who had once been brand loyalists switched to BMW, KTM, and even Japanese manufacturers who had invested heavily in premium models with proven reliability. The dealer network contracted as locations became unprofitable without the customer trust necessary to maintain service department revenue. Used Ducati values fell below loan amounts, creating a negative equity crisis where owners could not sell their motorcycles without bringing cash to the transaction. The corporate exodus began with the CEO's resignation amid shareholder pressure over mounting legal liabilities. Engineering leadership departed as quality control responsibilities became legal risks rather than technical challenges. Marketing executives sought positions elsewhere as Ducati's brand reputation became impossible to rehabilitate through conventional means. Dealer principals began selling franchises rather than continuing their association with a brand increasingly synonymous with deception. The cultural shift was perhaps the most damaging long-term consequence. Motorcycle forums that once treated Ducati ownership as an aspiration now routinely featured it as a cautionary tale. Riding groups began explicitly excluding Ducati owners from long-distance trips due to reliability concerns that could strand the entire group. Motorcycle magazines shifted coverage from performance celebrations to reliability warnings when reviewing new models. Insurance companies increased premiums specifically for Ducati models due to higher claim frequencies and repair costs, adding another financial burden to ownership. So that is the story of Ducati, a company that spent decades building the most passionate customer base in motorcycling, then systematically betrayed that trust for short-term profits. Their three fatal mistakes are instructive for any premium brand. First, they confused customer loyalty with customer gullibility, believing passion could survive any level of deception. While enthusiasts might overlook occasional issues for a brand they love, systematic problems eventually break even the strongest emotional connections. Second, they prioritized marketing over manufacturing, spending millions on MotoGP while shipping defective street bikes. Racing success created an image of technical superiority that actual products could not deliver. Third, they weaponized their own heritage, using Italian character to excuse manufacturing failures rather than addressing underlying issues. What began as a charming quirk became a cynical deflection strategy that eventually backfired completely. The broader business lesson is clear. Customer trust takes decades to build, but can be destroyed in a single product cycle. Social media transforms isolated complaints into viral movements capable of destroying brands virtually overnight. Legal costs of systematic deception always exceed the savings from avoiding proper manufacturing fixes. Emotional brand connections become liabilities rather than assets when customers feel personally betrayed by companies they once defended passionately. The current reality is that Ducati still produces motorcycles, but their cultural influence has permanently diminished. New customers approach the brand with skepticism rather than passion. The $2.8 billion settlement continues generating negative publicity years later. Competitors now explicitly use Ducati reliability issues as selling points for their own products, turning the brand's greatest weakness into marketing material for others. Maybe that is the real lesson. You can exploit customer loyalty for years, generate massive short-term profits, and convince yourself that passion conquers all problems. But eventually, customers realize when they are being systematically deceived. And once that trust breaks, no amount of Italian heritage, MotoGP victories, or emotional marketing can repair it. The silence around Ducati reliability today is not just market indifference. It is the sound of betrayed customers who learned that their devotion was being used against them. The Ducati story teaches us that all luxury empires can fall. When customer loyalty transforms into justified skepticism, even legendary brands collapse. $2.8 billion in settlements, 70% customer exodus, and permanent reputation damage, all from prioritizing profits over people. The question is not if you should trust luxury brands, but whether they have earned it. Do you agree or disagree? Subscribe now. What other iconic brand might be next?